So from the Bilge of Benevento, one of the nice things about traveling by boat is that there's plenty of room to bring back as much wine and spirits as you would like. And so what we're going to do is just take you on a quick little journey through the countries that we traveled on, from Mexico, ending up in the Canary Islands. And so Jen is going to tell you a few stories about some of the liquors that represent the different places.
So the first bottles of liquor we bought were in La Paz, Mexico, in the Sea of Cortez, and we bought several bottles of something called Sangre de California, which we realized later that it was very similar to tawny port. Those didn't make it back home, but we do have a little bit left of Kahlua from Mexico. Here we have some rum from Jamaica and Puerto Rico. We bought a lot more than this, but not all of it made it home. Some coconut rum from Bahamas.
And there was an interesting technique we learned for having rum. Why don't you share that story?
So when we were in the San Blas Islands off the Caribbean coast of Panama, we met a Swedish boat who told us how to make tea punch, which was a French technique for drinking rum in the Caribbean, where you take a little bit of turbinado sugar, some fresh lime juice, and mix it with room temperature rum, and the rum will dissolve the sugar, and it's a great way to have rum when you don't have ice.
Which is why we went through so much rum, because it was quite delicious.
Then we have some wine from the Azores, and the Azores are volcanic islands that some of them are quite steep, and so they have to terrace the vineyards, and this is a special bottle from the island of Pico in the Azores. When we were actually in Puerto Rico, we were served some liquor on our friend's boat named Shanda, and we realized that the Sangre de California is very much like tawny port. So when we got to Portugal, which is where they make tawny port, we bought a whole bunch of tawny port. This is the only bottle that's made it back. We were also given a bunch of tawny port from my friend Philippe, who lives in Lisbon. He also gave us this beautiful bottle of wine that we plan to have.
Yeah, those bottles he gave us didn't make it back either.
They didn't.
They ended up in our own personal bilge.
Here's some Hendrick's gin from Gibraltar when we made it there, and I'm going to bring you through some spirits from Spain, including a bottle of sherry, some cava, which is sparkling wine from Spain, just some red wine here. This is called Parcharon, and we were served Pacharon, and we were served this after we had a meal in a restaurant in Madrid, and they said, "Don't leave yet," as we were paying our bill, and they poured us something out of this wooden barrel, and it turned out it was Parcharon, which is like a licorice flavored liqueur, and it was so delicious we had to buy a bottle. This is a bottle of wine that we've been saving to have with Gerald's brother John, since we got this bottle in Barcelona when we were with him. Here's some coffee liqueur, the Spanish version of Bailey's. And these are two bottles of liquor. Licor 43 is a very famous liquor from Spain, only really in Spain. And these two liquors together, mixed with coffee and sweetened condensed milk, form in layers, so you can see the different colors, form a drink called Asiatico, and it's served in a special glass, and it's from the town of Cartagena in the south of Spain. And it's so localized that even when you go to another part of Spain, they don't know what it is. I had asked a man in Barcelona if he ever had an Asiatico, which means Asian in Spanish, and he didn't know what I was talking about. Well, he thought he knew what I was talking about.
What did he say? No, I never had an Asian.
No, he said no. And here's a bottle of pastis from France. We bought this particular bottle because it had a cool label. Pastis is also a sort of a licorice flavored, famous type of liqueur from France. And we got this from the town of Villefranche-sur-Mer, which is a beautiful, beautiful town. We had the whole anchorage to ourselves because it was in the middle of winter. And it was also the town where they filmed Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, if you've ever seen that movie. We had a bunch of French wine that also didn't make it quite back. Made it to our own bilge. All of these bottles of wine are now from Italy, so we're going to start with Italy here. And these are from our tour of Tuscany, and the Castello di Broglio is the oldest winery in all of Italy. And Baron Ricasoli, who started Broglio Winery, is the man who invented the formula for Chianti. And so that's one of the wines that region is famous for.
And that winery goes back to when?
The 1400s.
Oh, wow.
This bottle of wine was gifted to us from great friends that we made in Bari, Italy, Nicola and Charlie. And we couldn't bring ourselves to drink it yet, so I don't know, maybe we'll wait
Saving
for our
it for a
next
special
anniversary.
occasion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another bottle of wine from Italy, some Prosecco, which is Italian sparkling wine. Then we get into the Itzias and the Ilos, limoncello made from lemons. A lot of these are from Sicily.
These are the digestivos.
Yeah, digestivo is a drink that you would have after a meal. We have lemon, limoncello, we have pistachio, or as they say in Italy, pistacchio. We have liquor de mandorla, which is almond flavored liqueur, some more limoncellos. And then we have licorizia, which is a very thick, sweet licorice flavored liqueur.
Black licorice.
Black licorice. And here is wine that Daryl's uncle Raffaele made. And Raffaele makes everything. He makes nut liqueur, he makes his own pepperoncino, he makes tomato sauce. So we're really looking forward to having this Tintilia wine, and this one is an Olivella. This liqueur is from the town of Benevento, so of course we had to get this. It's also a digestivo, and it is an herbed liqueur called Strega, and a little bit of an acquired taste. But of course we have to get it. And these liquors might be more familiar to you. Some of these are made into a drink called an Americano, which was the first cocktail developed in Italy. It's delicious.
So we're getting into our aperitivos?
I guess, I think an Americano would be a cocktail. And here is Aperol, which is what you use to make an Aperol spritz. You add this and Prosecco and a slice of blood orange. And here we have Sambuca, which is stronger, more similar to Ouzo if you've had that. And you can drink this on its own or put it in an espresso to have after a meal, and it would be called a corretto con Sambuca. If you could also have a corretto with grappa. Then we visited Daryl's relatives in Slovakia and came back with a whole hoard of liquor here. This is plum liquor, which is very, very popular in Slovakia. And for example, when they have a wedding and Daryl's cousin Lucia was about to get married, and they have to estimate about one bottle per person when they have a wedding.
These wedding affairs go on until 6, 7 in the morning.
Actually, I think later. I think the grandparents go home at 6 in the morning, if I recall correctly,
Yeah.
and they last until maybe 11 the next day. And also some pine liqueur and some Yeltsin vodka. They also have Gorbachev vodka, but we couldn't find a bottle of it.
They have many Russian figure vodkas.
Then we have our Ouzo, and from our friends on Bagheera, Phil and Allison, we found out the right way to drink Ouzo, which is that you first mix it with cold water, then add ice, and it turns milky, and then you just sip it. So, different from the shots that we took back in college, I guess. Here's a bottle of I don't know what liqueur from Sardinia. Got this when we were with our friends on Endgame, and I just bought it because it's such a cool bottle with cork around it. So even if we don't drink it, we can put it up for display. And here we have a couple of bottles from the Balearic Islands in Spain. This Mallorca, the island of Mallorca, is famous for its herb liqueur. They have a sweet, this is the sweet version, and also more of a bitter version. And they also make a lot of gin in Spain, and the island of Menorca makes this particular gin. Gin and tonics are really popular in Spain right now, and they serve them, they have bars that sometimes just serve like a whole menu of gin and tonics, and they serve it with all these kind of fun, different things. We got this in there that has cardamom seeds and juniper berries and hibiscus flowers and things like that. And then finally, a couple of bottles from the Canary Islands that Daryl got on the way back. And
again, volcano island, so they have to do a special sort of terracing to grow the wine there, but it's quite delicious.
Now, when we pulled the boat out of the water to have it trucked back from Florida to California, we had estimated that it was about 14 tons.
Well, the dry weight of the boat's 12 tons. We figured with, all the stuff we had packed on, we might have been about 15 tons, 14, 15 tons. We weighed 18. In at 18
and
tons.
And I think this is one of the reasons why.
This and 50 kilos of pasta and tomato sauce and Parmigiano cheese to help. So we hope you enjoyed this trip around part of the world through spirits and wines. And
come on over.
We say cheers to you, or as they say in Slovakia.
What do they say in Slovakia?
How do you say it? Dante, you were drinking a lot in Slovakia. How did they say cheers?
No, that's good morning. Noloso.
Noloso, he forgets. It was
I know, I just can't remember it.
No, you don't. If I
Well,
poured
here's
you,
the
if I
hand
poured you a
gesture.
shot, would you remember?
Yeah, I might.
Novice. Nobody.
Nastravie!
Nastravie! There we go, Nastravie. Or in Italian, which we remember, Cent'anni.
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 Ciao.